Hi everyone, my name is Peter. Thanks for joining me at Our Worship Sound. In this video, I want to talk about a step that I think a lot of musicians miss when they're learning a song for the first time. And as an example, let's take this chord progression and say we're playing a song that has these chords in it. C, G, A minor, and F. And I think a lot of people are good playing those chords and they know the chord names and executing those chords and they're fine. But there are some things that they miss out on when they take that approach. You can miss out on important connections between the chords. You never develop the ability to play by ear. You're never quite sure how to change your chords in a way that sounds good. And you'll be in real trouble if someone asks you to play that chord progression in a different key. But there's one simple step that we can take that will enable us to get all those things. And it's simply to clearly identify the key that the song is being played in. I know that might sound really basic, but it truly is the most important step because identifying the key that the song is being played in allows us to work out the scale for that song. Okay, so for example, on this one, if we can figure out that this chord progression is in the key of C major, we can work out the scale for C major, which is this. And when we do that, there are two major things that are revealed when we do that. Okay, number one, we can start to think of these chords not just in terms of their names, but in terms of a number. And by that, I mean the number of the scale note that they are built on. So when I play this C chord, I'm not just playing a random C chord, I'm playing the chord built off the first scale note of this scale. I'm not just playing a random G chord, but I'm playing the chord built off the fifth note of the scale. The A minor is built off the sixth note of the scale, and the F chord is built off the fourth note of the scale. So I'm not just playing a C, G, A minor, F progression. I'm playing a 1, 5, 6, 4 progression. Okay, and when you begin to play chords and think of chords in terms of their numbers, it unlocks a lot of different really important and useful skills. For example, when you listen to other songs and you hear them and you try to play them, you'll start to hear these chords coming through. You might not hear that you need to play an A chord or an E flat chord or that kind of thing, but you'll begin to hear chord numbers. Okay, you'll begin to hear that's the 4 chord, or it's leading to the 5 chord, and there's the minor 6 kind of thing. Okay, so as an example, let's take this this other progression. So we're playing G, D, A, and B minor. But you hear that, and if you're thinking chord numbers, you'll eventually get to the point where you'll hear 4 chord, 1 chord, 5 chord, 6 chord. Okay, and that's how we develop the ability to play by ear. Okay, we begin to hear these different chords coming through in these progressions. Another really important step that thinking about chords in terms of their scale number will give us is that it makes it so much easier to transpose songs to other keys. Let's say that we have to take this first chord progression and play it in the key of D major. If we're just thinking C, G, A minor, F, we have no idea where to go when we need to play it in D major. But if we can think of their chord numbers in terms of the D major scale, we can work out that we need to play the 1 chord here, the 5 chord here, the 6 chord as B minor, and the 4 chord as G. So thinking in terms of chord numbers makes transposing so much easier. And once you get to the point where you're comfortable playing chords built off different scale note numbers, you can begin to create your own progressions and be more unlimited in where you go from one chord to the next. So I said there were two things that identifying the key and the scale will give us. So thinking of terms of chord numbers. And the second thing is knowing how you can change your chords for a more refined sound. Okay, when I played this first progression, I played exactly the scale notes that are in these chords marked in the chart. Okay, but if you listen to a recording or a really good musician play this is going to have it's not going to have that sort of refined approach and a refined sound to it as what you hear in the recording or from a really good musician. So a lot of times what you're hearing, if they play something different with the chord, is all they're doing is adding the first scale note or the fifth scale note to those given chords. Okay, so they know what key they're playing in, they know what scale goes along with it, and then just working in the first scale note or the fifth scale note to the chords, even if they're not written into the chords in the chart. So if we take this chord progression in C major, and we know that the first note of the C major scale is C, and the fifth note is G, and we try to work those notes into the chords, we can obtain that more refined sound, okay? So let's look at these chords. We have a C chord. It already has the first scale note and the fifth scale note, the C and the G, so we're not gonna worry about that one. But then when we go to the G, instead of playing just these notes, we can change this one to the first scale note, and it becomes a G sus4 chord. Okay, and then when we go to A minor, it has the C, but not the G. We could add the G in it. Can even try leaving out the A, switch the notes around a little bit, and we have a different voicing of the A minor chord that sounds a little bit more modern. Okay, and then the F, it has the C, but not the G. So we can add the G into it. We can also use it in place of that A. So again, we have a different voicing of the F chord, and then we can end up with a progression that sounds more like. And it has a lot more color and a more modern sound to it than just playing the chords that are in the chart, okay? And we get that from knowing what key we're in, what scale goes with that key, and working in the first scale note and fifth scale note to the chords. So again, identifying the key of the song is a really basic step, but it unlocks so many important things. And these are the sorts of steps that we're going to take in this new course that is coming out. I'm really excited about it. It's called Fluent Piano Chords, and we're going to talk about not only how to play chords, but how to play them well in a way that sounds really good with that modern refined sound to it, and playing chords in a way that allows you to build the relationships between chords in different keys. So you're not just playing random chords. You're understanding and build those connections to see how everything fits together. It's going to set you up really well for learning to transpose, to play by ear, and all those other good things that we talked about. So as I'm releasing this video, Fluent Piano Chords is just coming out. So I hope you'll check that out. I think it's going to do a lot of good things for you. If you have very little experience on keyboard, it'd be a great starting point, even if you've already played by chords for a while, but you're just not sure that you're getting that sound that you hear on recordings or from other musicians, or you're unsure of your rhythm or what to do here and there, and building those connections. I think you'll find it to be a really great and helpful thing for your playing. So I hope you'll check that out. It's called Fluent Piano Chords. And if it's not out now, it's going to be out there very soon. So check that out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.